In this video, I'm about to walk y'all through the exact process that I've used to scale clients past 100K a month with just the VSL book a call funnel. Now, this is the exact sales process. This can be applied to webinars too. It really just depends on how you do it. But use this framework when you're walking through with your sales team in terms of how do you take them from, okay, let's say maybe you're making 50K, right? You're making 50K, but how can you really maximize on your ad spend? If you're putting 10K into ads and making 50K back, maybe you could be doing better by having a more dialed in sales process. Or if you're just starting from scratch, you have never ran a book a call funnel before, so via VSL funnel, you're trying to figure out how do I maximize on my ad spend? How do I get the most amount of ROAS or ROI from it? This is exactly what you're gonna do. So let's hop right into it. All right, so before I get into what actually works, let me show you guys what I have seen hasn't worked and what I have seen people do and what you're probably doing right now. First and foremost, what I see a lot is people seeing an ad. So they see the ad. This is the freaking ad, right? They see your creative. And then from here, there, first off, I see some ads go to DMs. Don't do that. Stop doing that. That's like literally a no. So stop doing DM ad to DM unless you're trying to get some type of quick cash back and like super fast and then use that cash to put into higher ad spend. But I really strongly advise against that, especially if you're an online coach. Now once they see this ad, they're gonna go to your landing page, right? And then from there, what I see a lot is people go to it. So now you have your headline up here, so I'm going to say header. Then you have your subheader, which I actually don't see a lot. So you want to make sure that you have a header first, like a header and a subheader. And then as well, now you have the VSL. So you have the video. Then you have the little call to action button, right? And then what I'm seeing a lot of times happen is this to go straight to the calendar. So you have this and you have your slots, your booking slots, right? And so that's straight to, maybe a Calendly or a GSL link. And with that, whatever the case is, right? Now, what I don't see here is I don't see an application. What are they filling out in between this before they get here that is going to filter out the leads that are our ICP, so who we want, and filter out the leads to who we don't want, right? So that way, when those people, they either going to get sent to the people that we don't want. Then we have people that we do want. People that we don't want, they're going to get sent somewhere, to a disqualification, a disqualification page, or get sent to something to where maybe we're giving them a free resource, whatever we're doing, but we don't want these people. So this is what I see a lot of times. I don't even see this part here, right? Which is a main problem that I don't even see in the whole entire process. Or what I see is not even an actual VSL, a video. It just goes straight from the ad to all the way to the booking page to just book a call. So how are you going to do that? And I've seen this approach. And if you ever have a company or business that has it to where you're calling the leads right away and you just want them to book a call because that's what you need to reduce friction and make sure that we're increasing our conversions when we actually are getting clicks to our page, but no one is booking, maybe because it's too long. But again, that's when it comes to some refinement to the offer and your targeting, your ads and stuff like that. Because people that are interested in your offer, they will go this whole entire process, right? So you want to make sure you're fixing these small details that do matter. And so let me backtrack here and tell you what will actually work for you based on you sending people from your ad to your book a call funnel and how to properly go about that, and then the sales process behind that. So let's just get into that next. All right. So once again, they seen the ad. So they see your ad, right? Let's put it right here. They see the ad, and you have had compelling messaging in the ad to where they want to swipe up on it or click the call to action button, whatever. First and foremost, also, I always do recommend learn more. What I have seen through testing out this on different offers that I've been on is learn more just has the most amount of conversions. I don't know why, but it just does. So yeah, use learn more, right? Now moving on from this, the next step is going to go to the VSL page. When they do that, you're going to have a header, and it's going to say a few different things. It can say discover how, right? It can say discover how. It can say learn how. It can say see how. But what I've seen is these types of things convert at a high rate, right? So I would just suggest you use something like that. And then from there, your subheader. This is going to be and or without. So I've seen these convert really good. So you can say something like, and you don't need X, Y, and Z, right? Or without doing X, Y, and Z. And typically that's like two, that's either one or sometimes two, but typically it's like one or three things. So without spending money on this, wasting time on this, whatever the case is, depending on your target audience and what their pain points are, right? And what their common pain points are. And that's what it says in the sub headline. Then you're going to have your video. Now, depending on the type of offer you have, once again, because these things do matter and how fluent your audience is or how consumer based your audiences. I don't really work with like I don't kind of like VDC offers. Anyway, so that's pretty much that, right? So they watch this video, and this can be anywhere from, on the B2C side, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. On the B2B side, anywhere from really sometimes even 3 minutes. It just really just depends on the B2B offer, but it can be anywhere from 3 to 9 minutes to me. But I feel like it's a good VSL, a short VSL, right? So that's what I'm saying here. And then you have your call to action button. Now, this call to action button can be anything. When it is consumer based, I would say something that is relative to the offer. So make it to where it's a little bit more scarcity, a little bit more urgency. If it's B2B based, you can literally say apply now or apply here or whatever the case is, because these people, again, are mostly, depending on the type of B2B market that you're targeting, whether you have a B2C/B2B audience, really just depends. So yeah, call to action button right there. And then from there, you don't want to have it go to a different page. You want to keep them on the same page. So then down here, right below here, you have a type form embed, right? So this is going to be a type form embed. You're going to make sure it's embedded into the actual lander. So this is going to be embedded down here. And then from here, now, after they go through the application, now you want to make sure that the Calendly is linked, connected to the type form. So it's connected to the type form. And then you have your Calendly, right? Again, this is connected to it to where they can book a call. Now, what I like about Calendly versus GHL, the most commonly used CRM these days, is Calendly, what it does is it's able to where when you're sending out reminders for people to show up, right? Your automated reminders. It's a lot better than GHL, because what I see a lot of times is these automated reminders, they don't pop up in people's spam. They pop up in people's main inbox, right? And so you never want to do anything that's going to decrease your chances of having people show up for the call. So I prefer to spend an extra $20, $40. I forgot what it is, but depending on how big your team is, $20, $40 a month on Calendly instead of using GHO, which already including your CRM, because again, if I can easily make this $40 back, whatever the case is, from getting a person to show up and eventually close them, right? So I would rather much set that up and the offer that I'm working on, or the offer for you, you might rather use this than just using your CRM, because it's going to be a lot better for your show rates. You'll see it. All right, so cool. That's that, right? They go through the standard process. Now, in the midst of this type form application, let me just walk you through the questions that you need to be asking in this to not only create urgency, not only to get them to sign. Let me just talk about the specific order, because what I've seen is, and I did learn this from trial and error, is, let's just say you originally had it to where you had the contact form first, right? So originally you had the contact form first, to where you're gathering, if you know anything about type form, or you can even use iClose as a good calendar as well too. iClose, if you are at that point, you can definitely use iClose calendar. It's a lot better than Calendly. Actually, that I'll make a separate video about that. But Calendly is good. Starter is great, actually. So with that being said, the type form application, right? Type form embed. Now, I see a lot of times you have the contact form first. So you're giving your phone number, their email, and stuff like that, right? It used to be standard practice, but what we've seen over the years is, instead of going to these contact forms, you have a phone, you get their email, and you get their name and stuff like that, right? Now, what you need to be doing now, instead of this, is doing this instead. Asking 1 to 2 questions. I recommend two. How soon are you looking to get started with whatever the offer is? So how soon? There may be a question of what are your goals? So your goals, or what made you interested into the offer? So what's your goal, what's your interest, things like that, right? Ask those 1 or 2 questions before, and then you go ahead and get the contact information for them, and then you ask the rest of the questions that's qualifying for seriousness. So what I mean when I say this is that I treat seriousness, budget, and timeline all the time. So what I mean when I say this is when you're talking about how serious a person is, you're going to ask a question like, how soon are you looking to get started? Like, are you mentally, financially, something like that, prepared to do X, Y, and Z, whatever? You're going to ask a question like, what is their budget? Now, depending on B2C, sometimes you can kind of go around the budget. So how much was your monthly income last month, to get them to tell the truth, right? Without actually them telling the truth. Or you can B2B for budget, you can say straight up, our minimum investment to work with us is 10K. Do you have what's the freaking yeah, do you have 10K in capital, in liquid capital, set aside, readily available to invest into the growth of your business, to help you whatever the goal is, right? Whatever offer you're doing. That's the example of qualifying for budget. Timeline is the how soon are you looking to move forward. Okay, ASAP, so ASAP or immediately, 1 and 2 weeks, within the next 2 to 4 weeks, within 30 days plus. Immediately cancel out the 30 days plus. You can maybe triage those 2 to 4 weeks, those 1 to 2 weeks if you want to, just depends on how your offer is. But that's how that should be, right? So that's this whole process. Now, once we get the proper questions, I'll tell you again, I'm going to come back to this seriousness, budget, and timeline and this DQ type of situation. But after that, now they're going to go to the Calendly page. And then on the Calendly page, what I see a lot of times too is people have their calendars out way too open. I see this like to where people have their calendar out to where it's freaking, this is the calendar and I'm about to book a call, and now I'm on Calendly, and now I have all these freaking days available. Like, it should not be like that. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the more, if I was a, put yourself in your prospect shoes. If I'm interested in learning how to grow my business with you're teaching me to scale my business with ads, right? So now you know when you see something about ads and you engage the ad, you book a call, Meta is now going to throw more advertisement at you. As a marketer, which you have to always be in your business, why would I want someone to see my ad, book a call with me for it's freaking Monday. They're gonna book a call with me next Thursday. And then in the meantime, they have all these days to see more ads, see somebody potentially that has more testimonials to look more credible, even though you might be the best fit for them, you might not, right? But why would I want someone to go over all of these time? No. So I'm going to keep it in no more than 3 days. So rule of thumb is no more than 72 hours, right? So what that means is that means same day booking, next day booking, and the following day. So today's Monday, which today is technically Tuesday. I'm filming this video. So today's Tuesday, right? They can book today, they can book tomorrow, and they can book on Thursday, and that's it. That's as far as that goes, unless they DM you and they say something else, whatever. The person really wants it, they're gonna book a call within those slots because you control the whole entire sales process. The more you control and the way you set standards from the beginning, trust me, is the way that you'll keep control throughout the entire process, working with them, etc. Right? So want to do that. So no more than 72 hours on this, and that's why. And from there, they book a call, and then you have the regular Calendly workflows, and I can get into that another day as well. What it means to had set up your Calendly workflows and things like that in terms of getting in Calendly and setting up to where they're getting multiple reminders. They're getting that 24-hour, they're getting that 3-hour. But these are just things, right? Rule of thumb for Calendly, you want to have a 24-hour, you want to have a 3-hour, you want to have a 30-minute. You also want to have a reminder that sends you a message 30 minutes before too, so you can kind of like take note, even though you have it in your calendar. And then you also want to do things like a 3-day out, 2-day out, 1-day out. So on top of this stuff, you also want, for the reminders, right? So not just the 24-hour, all that stuff I just talked about. You also want GHL or whatever CRM you're using, email reminders. This can be, again, whatever you're using. You also want email reminders getting sent out in that same cadence. So you're getting these automated reminders from Calendly. GHL, they're going to get those email sequences that you're getting. So now you're warming up the prospect before the call. Now you're doing all these different things. So let me just walk you through how that part looks from a marketing standpoint, right? And then from there, how the next steps look from the sales point of view, so how to collect cash from everything here. So from GHL, right, and the email sequences, the email reminders, again, that same cadence. And that cadence is going to be this cadence exactly, right? It's going to be, since you have your calendar no more than 3 days out, right? So what you're going to do is the reminders are going to be something like this. They're going to look like same day. So as soon as they book, they get a reminder. Typically, it's like a 5 to 10 minute delay. That's okay, right? Which is why I said you have the Calendly and you have the GHL. So same day reminder. Then you're gonna do something to where you're gonna do anywhere from like what I say is just doing depends on your offer. If it's B2C, you're gonna do more so towards the end. So like 9, 10-ish emails before the actual call. If it's B2B, you can keep it around 6 to 8, right? 6 emails before the call, depending on it. Again, if they have a call the same day, of course, you're not going to make sure all those emails are sent out at the same time. Now, same day, um, same day. So this is going to be 72 hours, just to get technical. 72 hours. This is also going to be 48 hours. This is also going to be 24 hours. This is also going to be 3 hours. Gonna be 30 minutes. And it just depends. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then those are just your automated reminders. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's 6. My bad. Anyway, so 6 emails, and then from there, what you're gonna do is you want to schedule out these different tailored emails, and right. And in these tailored emails, again, like I said, set those numbers 6 to 8 or 9, 10-ish, right? Whatever, depending on the offer, whether it's B2B or B2C. And what you're gonna do with that right there, and then these tailored emails, we're gonna do what I like to do a lot of them is I like to do case study emails, or I like to do testimonials. I also have secrets that I do, right? Which only my paying clients will get. But what you'll get is I'll share a little light on this right here that I've seen dramatically change responses is a founder's story email within this. So if you have a video, typically you want to make this towards the beginning of when they first put the call. So that first email is like a case study going over like everything in terms of the results and stuff to keep them excited. The second video is going to be like a founder story video. So you're just sitting down as the founder of or if you're running an offer, you have them sit down, they make a 15-minute video or less going over their story. And then of course you want to put like little pictures and stuff, but going over how they actually got to where they are now. Because what that does is it makes people more emotionally bought in and more convinced that this is the person that's going to solve the problem that I'm dealing with. That is that, right? And then from there, of course, like I said, other things. And one of the last things I like to mention as well too is before the actual call, walking them through how the process works. This needs to happen for B2C and B2B. People like to say this is for B2B, but no, it's for B2C too, because I've seen a dramatic increase in KPIs, show rate, and close rate because of adding this singular video, which is just going over what the entire process looks like, and it makes the closer's job so much easier. So adding in those different pillars. All right, now we're done with the email sequences. Let's talk about the sales process. The sales process it's not that complicated. It's really not. But when a person books the call, that's when you want to have on your confirmation page, which is super important. You need to have something at the line that says, "Wait, your call your call is booked but not confirmed." Our member of our team will be calling you within the next 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how good your setting team is. And then from there, to confirm your call, if you do not reply, your call will be canceled, something like that. Again, you control the sales process. They already like you, especially B2C, they already like you. They want to work with you, right? So they already have that start on B2B. That's just a respect thing, right? And if they're not respecting you now, they're gonna respect you later. So it's whatever. And that's just how I feel. So yeah, so from here, right? They see that at the top, that verbiage right there at the top that I just went over. So I just put the wait and then the dots, right? And then you're gonna see your confirmation video. In that confirmation video, you're gonna go over for sure. You're gonna go over a few different things. You're gonna go over number one, making sure that they lock the calendar and the email. Number two, and make sure that they are also um Number two, they're gonna make sure that they're also going to show with all decision makers. So decision makers. So I'm just gonna put like, husband and wife, whatever. Ching ching, right? All people that make decisions that have the cash flow, and then at the same time, quiet location, right? So those are the main things. And then you can also put that, right? And this is gonna be step one. So I forgot that part. Step one is gonna be watch the video. Step two is going to be You're gonna have a bunch of different like FAQ videos. So a lot of different videos that's going over, common objections that people have when they're going through, well, when they're thinking about working with you or working with the company, whatever. So little common objections. So these are going to be common objections that you have. So that's going to help the closer do their job too. It's going to help free handle certain things. And then you're going to have step 3 is now you're going to have all other like, you know, case studies and stuff like that. So testimonial videos. Now, what needs to happen from here, once they get through this, they're going through this, they're watching the videos, blase, blase, blase. After all of this, as they're watching the videos within 5 minutes or quicker or sooner, right? Sooner, that's when a setter is going to call them, right? And sometimes, depending on how lean your team is, this can be a closer too. But yeah, setter's going to call them. So setter calls them, ring, ring, right? And they're going to ask those questions. They're going to verify what they put on their application. So number 1, they're going to verify what the person put in their application. Number 2, they're also going to build excitement up for the call. They're also going to confirm the appointment and make sure that they chose the right slot, because sometimes people are just stupid. So that's as well too. So verify the information, and you're gonna ask it in a way to where it's direct, but not as direct, because again, this call is to qualify and make sure people are telling the truth. And then also, what this is going to do is boost excitement, because you want to still get them excited. That's why you need really, really good phone setters. And then confirm, make sure all the information that they have on the application is right, and also make sure that they are still good to go for that time and everything like that. Those are the key points of a triage, what we call a triage call. So a phone setter that come into your business. And I recommend it no matter if you're having if you're not having a problem, if you are having whatever, it doesn't matter if you're not having a problem. I still think a phone setter is very important, because not only can they do this, they can also down no shows, they can also follow back on a lot of different things. Now, if a person had the application, right? Because I talked about this earlier, and they didn't necessarily qualify for what you offer, you still are going to send them to a confirmation page, depending on how bad the DQ was. This is when you get nitty gritty. You can be creative. This is your sales process. Get creative with your sales process. This one you're gonna get very into detail in terms of um what you consider a DQ, and then what you consider like I cannot help you, right? Because there's certain things to where you cannot help them at all, and there's certain things to where you can help them, but you just can't help them with your core offer, maybe your secondary offer. So with those DQ opt-ins, you still don't want to leave that money on the table. So this is what I do. I have 2 Slack channels, right? So let's just say they get sent to a different confirmation page. That way it can be a little bit different for them. They're still gonna see all the stuff, still get excited, still think that they made it, whatever. So from there, then they're gonna go to confirmation page, right? And in my Slack, in the Slack site set up for my clients, we have 2 channels. We have a opt-ins. So that's when we're going to see people that basically fill out the application, but they didn't. So I'll actually go through three channels to fill out application, but they didn't book a call for whatever reason. Those people getting out right away. So there's an automation on the back end that does that. So that's for the people that are qualified, but somehow they didn't, book the call or whatever. And then that's a different sales process. Then you're going to have the DQ opt-ins, and that's what we're going to talk about in just a second. They're going to have the book calls, which is basically what we just talked about. People that book a call, we're going to call them right away, right? So, and priority is pretty much book calls first. If you had one setter, book calls first. And then it's going to be opt-in second, and then DQ opt-ins third. And so with that said, people don't really use the DQ opt-ins, but again, like I said, right? So with that being said, DQ opt-ins going to call those individuals, and they're of course going to have a different process. Yeah, we're going to verify the information, get them excited, but then we're going to figure out what was it. Maybe our qualifications is you need to have 10K, and you said that you only have 5K. And so can we downsell you? Can we actually get you into our secondary offer, our beginner level offer, or can we not? Right? So we want to clarify that first. And then from there, now we can see if they actually went through booking an appointment. If they did go through booking an appointment, we can look at them in the CRM. And if they did do that, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a lot less DQ if you're doing everything right. You're going to have a lot less DQ than everything else, unless you just have a offer to where a lot of times, this happens a lot of times with funding offers, they get a lot more DQs and they get, qualified people, and then you kind of go from there. But again, it really just depends. So yeah, DQ, um, opt-in, so you're going to qualify whether or not they can actually be a fit for that secondary offer, and then you're going to book them. Even if they book the call, you're gonna say, hey, actually, actually that closer, somehow it was a scheduling conflict. That closer that not that closer, but that advisor isn't able to speak to you right now. Isn't going to be available. So I'm going to actually move you on to our senior advisor's calendar, and that way you'll be able to speak to someone that can definitely help you, right? And then they're going to feel special when they're not actually less special. But so move the DQ off the into that calendar, and then that way that person is typically like a junior closer. And there, or one of your other closers, maybe you give them a little bit more commission for selling those or for hopping being on a calendar. And then after that, now they can close that deal, and they already know copying this call, this is going to be a secondary offer close, not a primary offer close. So that's the process from start to end in terms of how do I really maximize on sales. I need to make sure I have an application form. I need to make sure that I have my back end operation set up. I need to also make sure that I'm qualifying and having a phone setter at the very least. Your phone setter can also be trained on how to DM set. Very easy, right? So if they know how to phone set, they for sure know how to DM set. So those different things, and make sure you have the proper things on your your first landing page, your confirmation page, ensuring that you have the operation set up on the back end to where you are attacking these people with speed to lead, having your automated reminders, your manual reminders. I hope you took all the sauce, and I hope that you will apply it. If you need help directly installing all these systems to your business, just scroll down below. I have a link right there. You can book a call with me or a member of my team, and then we will definitely help put together our RSM roadmap to help you scale past 100K a month. And that is exactly the system that I use to scale my clients as well. I use all these things I talk about, plus so much more. So there you go. Take this though, use it, put it into your sales process right now, and I promise you, you will see a massive change in everything.